Yo, what's up, guys? Your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast, and this is episode 32. Today we have a very special guest on, but before I introduce him, if this is your first time on the podcast, this podcast is all about empowering you to live the life that you deserve. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please feel free to subscribe to the podcast. And please share this podcast with one other person out there. I know there's going to be a lot of great information on this podcast today, and I'm super excited about this conversation. Today I got my boy Terance Lewis, a real estate investor, and he also flips homes in specific.
Yes, sir.
I'm super excited about this podcast and the information that's going to be passed along in this episode. He also posts a lot about entrepreneurship, and one thing that I do love about what you do is you not only do you post like these quotes and whatnot, but you actually practice what you preach.
Right.
You know, a lot of people out there, they just repost and stuff, and they're not really practicing what you preach, but you're literally out there showing people like what to do and how to do it and what to look for, which is it's amazing to me. So
yeah, thank you.
Terance Lewis, everybody. We can get into it real quick about a little bit of your background, where you grew up, and like how you got into entrepreneurship.
Sure. Man, appreciate you having me, man. Most definitely,
yeah.
man. Most definitely. I'm just, and like you said, as far as just sharing the information, it's kind of like the root of all that information sharing is like when I started, man, I started before the IG, I started before the YouTube and all that good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So back in 03, 04, and it was like, man, just a young kid, 19, 20 years old. And I get it. A lot of guys hit me up on Instagram that are young and they're trying to get started. So I feel for those. But that's what the whole thing is about, is just nobody really kind of reached their hand out and helped me. It was a lot of the guys in the game that it was just 5 Gs, 10 Gs, 20 Gs to get information, period.
To have a conversation.
Or, you know, you go to seminars and a lot of people don't understand that seminars are set up for the upsell. So you do have to have your plan in place, which was something that I heavily preach. So that way, when you do go to these seminars, you have multiple functions where you can actually go there and start networking with the people that are aligned with your plan and grab as much information as you can.
Absolutely.
Right. So, you know, most definitely, man. But what was the question?
Yeah. So
the start of the business.
Yeah. How did you get into entrepreneurship? Was like real estate your first thing, or?
Yeah, man. And so entrepreneurship is what I live and breathe. It's funny too, because again, with me preaching the whole plan is because I started once I really where it started from was when in school I was just a very bad student, right? Like not in a bad student in the sense of like a bad kid, but just the normal style of teaching was not my thing, right? Like I can count on my hands how many times I did homework in high school in 4 years. You see what I'm saying? I was really good at the whole looking to the left, looking to the right. I was really good at, you know, hey, little shorty, won't you know what I'm saying? Hook me up with the homework, and you know what I mean? So I was really good at leadership and really good at management, you know what I mean? Very early on. And even with struggling with reading, I had to learn how to position myself in class so the teacher didn't call me to read. I had to, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to learn a different way, right? Fast forward, I went to the military and became an acoustic warfare systems operator, right? And from there was the first time I was tested with like, hey, it's just you got to learn how to study this. You got to bring this information and regurgitate it, right? You're an air crewman. I'm tracking nuclear and ballistic submarines. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's when I realized that, A, if I put my mind to it, I can do it, right? So the military showed me that. And then B, I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's what, like everybody, of course, loves money, right? But that's when your eyes are open to, oh, this is how money works. You see what I'm saying?
That's like the entry level book that a lot of people read to figure out like real estate and the whole entrepreneurship game. A lot of people pick up that book and they get into it. Yeah, because
you get that cash flow, you get the flow, you get to see how ass backwards you're doing it. Like you're gonna go exchange hours for X amount of dollars. There's only so many hours you can get to get those dollars, right? So that book showed me very early the proper way that money should flow, and I understood it because the way the book is broken down is it explains it to the 5-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Literally, to a small sense. So once I got a hold of that, then I realized like, oh crap, like I'm passionate. I found something I'm passionate about. I found my purpose. From there, I was a trigger puller. Like I bought literally back then they had stated income where literally if you tell them whatever income you have, that's what they put on the paper and that's what you can get qualified for.
Wow.
So I was closing like 2-3 houses in a weekend, right? There was no regulatory agencies that monitored the multiple transactions. Now you can't buy 2 houses at the same time, right? But that's how aggressive I was. I was, let's put it this way. I started when I was 20. By the time I was 22, I had 1.6 in real estate. I had over 15 doors. You know what I'm saying? In a quick amount of time, and you know what I'm saying, for a young kid.
So you were just buying them, finding tenants, buying them, finding tenants.
That was it. I just wanted the ideal of being a landlord, right? Because I understood the passive income. Silly me, I had a guy. The market was so hot. I had a guy. I bought a house for $350,000, and the homeowner kicked me back $20,000. And I had another person that wanted to buy it from me so bad that he was going to give me $20,000 more than I bought it for, right away. So I could have made $40,000 on a deal, but I was like, no, I want to be a landlord. I lost the house in 08. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, that's one of those things back in the day. But yeah, to answer your question, man, like that's where I started from. That's my beginnings was, you know what I mean?
So that I'm assuming that mistake there got you into flipping homes.
Well, no.
What
you'll understand as you grow into real estate is that even though the picture is painted as a flipper being an investor, a flipper is not an investor. Flipping is an active source of income. If you stop doing it, it stops making money. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you're really a glorified project manager. Okay, you're solving a problem and you're getting it hopefully through to completion and sold before something bad happens. You know what I'm saying? Like the market slows down or something shifts, or an expense comes, or a new tax law is passed, right? Or whatever. You're trying to get in and get out as quick as possible so you can get that money on the other side, right? The passive income is what you're supposed to do with the money you flipped, okay? And so what I teach people is how to make money as a project manager within your flip so you can eat off of that. But that would leave the money at the very end, the most taxable income, to actually be used to put into a self-directed Roth IRA. A lot of you guys have heard is 1031 exchanges. You're moving that money to keep rolling that money forward. Because if you take that money and you absorb it and accept it as income, you're now taxed on it. So that's taking 10 steps forward and then 5 steps back. You feel me?
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Wow. That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, you go to your Instagram account and in your bio, you got, I make real estate partners, not students.
Right.
Can you explain more about that?
Most definitely, man.
Really interesting.
And not to knock, I got a lot of guys, a lot of partners in the game that teach and they have educational platforms, right? Which is beautiful because they're trying to get information to the public, right? But what I find is a lot of people end up further in debt and further away from the flip that they're trying to accomplish, right? You got people that, which I always go back to the plan, that are wholesaling out there because they feel they don't have money to invest in real estate, right? So they spend a lot of their time, energy trying to wholesale.
For the people that don't know, can you explain wholesaling real quick?
Sure. It's basically taking a property and getting someone to agree to sell you their property, let's say for $50,000. And then you turn around and find someone else to buy it from you for more. You're
essentially a middleman.
You're a middleman. You're just moving the paper.
Yeah.
I got it under contract for $50,000. Someone over here wants to buy it for $55,000. And the title company and the escrow company handle all the paperwork in between. You ain't got to worry about all that. So you just have to get it one person to sign it and sell it to you for $50, another person to sign it, buying it for $55, and you will make that $5,000 middles. Okay.
That's how a lot of people get started in the real estate game, right?
Yeah, a lot of people get started in that because they're told that wholesaling is a way to get into properties with little to no money, which technically that process is, but the part that they don't explain is finding the people is not a little to no money process. But let's get back to that because we want to answer the question about the partnerships, not students, right? So finding a way to help people get into the transaction, get into flipping property without taking them further into debt and then leaving them with information that I feel is valued of $20,000. You get what I'm saying? So what I've done is said, listen, take that same $20,000 and let's put it on a deal together. Okay. So we go in on a deal together and we'll split the profits on that deal. So not only day one are you becoming an investor, Now I make my money off of doing another deal, right? So let me paint the whole picture to you. The lender wants 10% down on the property. So say we have a $100,000 property. They want $10,000 down, okay? They want their fee, $4,500. Now we're at $14,500. And you have payments, let's just say of $1,000 a month. The process is going to take about 5 months. That's another $5,000, right? So we're at what, $19,500? Then you're going to have another $3,000 to $4,000 of contingency just in case the backhoe drives into the neighbor's fence, okay? Some unexpected comes up.
Gotcha.
So there's your 20 to 25K. Now, I can come up with the 25K and just keep doing deals and make all the money. Or I can bring you in and you gap fund that deal, okay? And now for bringing that money to the table, now I get to do another deal and you get to do a deal with an experienced investor. We split those profits on the other side of the deal, okay? So that's the framework of the deal. Now, because we're partners, now the educational platform kicks in. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we're going to work one-on-one. We're going to start with a plan, where you're going, your why, your plan, and your goals. Then we're going to create a criteria around what it is and how it is to get what it's going to take to get you to that goal. And we're going to work with you week by week in order to get you educated to that point from concept all the way to completion, right? But not only that, I'm in the field working with anywhere between 4 to 8 properties at any given time. So now when I go to Cleveland and when I go to Detroit, my partners are welcome to come with me, right? So I share my schedule with you guys. And now it's like, hey, here's my schedule. You gotta let me know before I book my rental car. Am I getting a Prius or am I getting an excursion? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A van or whatever. So now we're able to go into these properties and get hands-on applications. So instead of you doing one property and have never dealt with a roofing issue, doing the next property and have never dealt with an electric issue, you come out with me for a weekend and now you can see a roofing being done, kitchens being put in, demo being done, dealing with contractors, dealing with real estate agents, the whole shebang, right? From start to finish, hands-on, but more 24 hours of just us, you just absorbing that information. And that's more valuable than sitting
I
on the
was
phone.
literally just going to say it's more valuable than the income you'll make from the investment is the actual education.
Thank you for saying that.
No, I'm serious. Like I'm listening. I'm
Thank
like,
you for saying that.
like,
You know
that's
what I mean?
worse.
Because most
know?
people end up with them paying the money with nothing back,
Right.
right? So when people even tell me, they're like, well, how much am I going to make? I'm like, yeah, you're going to make a return on the money, but scratch that, bro. You're getting a free education.
From an experienced investor.
Right? And you're getting hands-on, one-on-one. See, that's the thing about it is, listen, the thing about real estate with education is that to pull a comp and to determine an after repair value in Cleveland is not the same as California, okay? So if I'm going to teach the whole world how to pull comps and how to determine the ARV, I have to give you guys a generic overview. You got to go a little bit further in depth in your area, right? So that's why most educations leave you feeling a little bit unfinished. You get what I'm saying? But when we work one-on-one like this, I'm not scaling this up to 200 people. I do in blocks of 20 or 30 people at a time. So once it's full, it's full. You see what I'm saying? Because once those people graduate and they've become educated to the point, working one-on-one like that, you're going to get this information quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? And to the point. But once they graduate, they move on to start investing in their respective neighborhoods, and now I can open up that block. And I can be 100% transparent with it. I'm here to do more deals. If I got 300K, I can do 10 deals, 20 deals, right? If you come in, now I can do 21. Simple and plain. There's no behind the curtains. There's no blindfold. There's straight up, I'm here to get more money, and I'm here to leverage my education with this game to help do so. So everybody wins in this situation.
How common is like programs like this, these education programs? Because I've never heard of something like
It doesn't
this.
exist. It's not scalable. You won't see it. It's not scalable.
Got you.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I'm working on educational platforms to bring in a large majority of the people, but I just don't see myself doing the big $300 and come get a little bit of information. Yeah. When you get education from me, I'm trying to give you raw game, right? So the educational platforms I'm working on is boot camps. Like you're going to come out for 4 or 5 days. We're going to actually call homeowners. We're going to actually talk to sellers. We're going to actually build a team. We're going to actually show you what it's like to work with project managers in different states. That's what I'm about. If we can't do it real and raw, then I don't want to. I don't want to pass on for $4.99. Here's a little bit of info,
and they might not even do nothing with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's putting people backwards. Take that $4.99, man, and save it or something, or go buy I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So what are some of the requirements that you require when people come to you? Like, just, is there like a certain amount of money that they need to bring to the table?
Yeah,
or?
so in order to do a deal, we just mapped out an average deal in the
Right.
Midwest, right?
Right.
So you need at least 15, 20K, right? The 15 is more set aside for like a portfolio program, right? So like for me, if we're gonna go on a deal together and I'm just gonna end up refinancing it, then I can bring somebody in at 15. But you gotta have at least something like that. Now, you don't have to have the capital. You can have the credit, or you can have the 401k, or you can have partnerships. So sometimes people come to me and they have bad credit. I'm like, well, is that where your will stops? Or are you gonna go to a networking event and go meet 4 other people and y'all get $3,000 each and come back? Or are you gonna go talk to your grandmother? Are you gonna talk to your uncle? Or are you gonna come up with the capital?
Yeah.
If you got somebody giving you this opportunity to work directly alongside of them,
You gotta make it happen.
and learn, you know what I mean? It's like it's up to you. But most individuals, as long as you got a 680 FICO score, then if not, I got a credit repair person. Get your credit right, and then we'll get it from there. But anybody that has at least a 680 FICO, I can get them 30, 40, 50K, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And then they take that capital and invest into a deal. Now, of course, I teach them from the very beginning that you're not going to leverage money like that irresponsibly. So let's say you got approved for 30K. Remember, this is all about OPM, other people's money, right? So if you got 30K, I'm not going to take, hey, invest the 30K into this deal. No, I want to let you invest more than 25. You can pull off the 30K, but you're going to use the other 5 to make payments on that 30 until that investment is mature.
That makes sense.
You use OPM to come into here and get your free education. You use OPM to get a return on your money. You use OPM to pay payments on other people's money while we borrowed other people's money to make money. You feel me with me?
Yeah.
Right?
No, bro, we only 17 minutes in. I already appreciate
It's
you. There's
raw,
so
bro.
much information already,
You
bro.
feel me? Like that. I don't ever want to be like on some surface information.
No, man,
there's no
that's
reason
deep.
to.
That's deep.
You
Yeah,
feel me?
yeah.
There's so much money out here to be made in this game.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to hoard.
Right.
No reason, bro.
So on the flip side, on the back end, you're looking for, well, you're not necessarily looking for people to invest with, but you're open to it, right?
I have a couple people that come in and just invest money.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then so on the other end, how do you find a good property? How do you find a good deal? Or is that something that you kind of mastered, or
Yeah.
you
So
got people doing that for you? What does that look like?
that is the gift of, not the gift, but that's the talent.
Experience?
That's the talent of
Okay.
a flipper, right? Is to find and identify a good deal. And the talent is to make sure that it's moving forward amicably. You know what I'm saying? That's it, right? Because the contractor is going to come in. He's going to give you his time frame. You do a lot of your hardest work on real estate before it starts. So when I teach people about building a criteria, it might take you a month and a half to build a criteria of exactly where to invest, what zip codes, what neighborhoods, what price points, what bed, what baths. That's the homework. Once you're done with that, hey, real estate agent, you want to work with me and help me find deals? I'm an investor. I'm looking for 3 deals. Yeah, sure. Here's my criteria. Let me know when you find that. Wholesaler, you want to help me find deals? Hey, here's my criteria. Right? Wholesalers, real estate agents. So you have to pick 2 paths. If you're going to come in this game and you have your job and you have whatever it is that you're doing, outsource that product, outsource that part of the acquisitions part of your business to wholesalers, agents, bird dogs, whoever it is that want to find you deals. They're going to mark up their price. Your criteria says that you're buying houses at X price and you want to make X, $30,000 per deal. If you make $30,000, if the wholesaler makes $80,000, you got to be okay with that because it meets your criteria of you making 30. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, once you get the ball rolling and you start doing volume, 2, 3, 4 deals at a time, which you have to do in this game to make any serious money. Now you can say, you know what? I have a team built. I have a project manager. I have good contractors I can rely on. They understand how I want things done, so we don't have to keep going back talking about how we want the tile laid, what color carpet, what color, like they got it dialed in, right? Now you can say, I got a little bit more time. Let's go ahead and open up an acquisitions department, right? And now you can hire a VA from the Philippines. You can have them pull tax lien properties, cold call on those, and now you can start calling homeowners and stuff like that. So coming into the game, there's plenty of deals out there if you stay diligent and consistent, right? If you're doing 1 offer a day, 2 offers a week, 10 offers next week. Like, you're never going to find the deal.
It's what you get what you put in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's numbers game. So like I said, and what I teach people is it's like, look, okay, well, when we put your plan down and we get your goals, we're going to see what your goals are. All we got to do is reverse engineer it now. Oh, you want 2 properties by the end of this year? It takes 100 offers to get 3 accepted. It takes 3 offers accepted to get 1 good deal. So you need 2. You need to put in 200 offers. How hard was that? Break that down to how much time you have, right? So you want to get that by the end of the year, you can just divide those numbers all the way down to how many offers you got to put in per week.
Simplify it.
Right?
Yeah.
But without those goals, everybody's lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, and I'm just trying to find it. No. If you didn't put your 4 offers in this week, when you call me and say, I can't come out, well, how many offers did you put in? Right? I don't care if it's off the MLS. I don't care if it's an offer on Craigslist. I don't care what it is.
It's an
put
offer.
the offers in. That's it. Don't, and people get too tied up in the offer. Like, oh, I got this deal. You don't got a deal. Is it under contract? Okay, well, you don't have a deal. You know what I'm saying? Stop talking about it. Just put another offer in.
I think I seen you put a post up on Instagram not to be too emotionally attached to the deals or the properties.
Yeah.
You talk about that a little
That's
bit?
the biggest thing for new people coming in.
Is that like kind of what you're talking about? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because you'll get a lot of people coming in and they'll be like, hey, you know, like, I got a deal here. This is the numbers. This is this, that. Look, it's math, man. You can get approved for 70% of what the after repair value is. Determine what that after repair value is. Subtract what you think the rehab cost is and what the lender's going to take. There's your offer price. Put it in and don't look back. If they counter, they counter. If they don't, they don't. You know what I'm saying? If they counter, now you playing ball. Now let's look at that deal again. But other than that, I forget what they call me back. What property? And I'm like, I don't remember that. Just give it to me again. What's the numbers? You know what I mean? What do we offer? You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Yeah, you can't get emotionally tied up in this game. It's a numbers game. I don't care if it goes through or not.
How do you feel about people saying they want to wait till the market crashes to invest in
That's
property?
the dumbest. Can I cuss on here?
Say what you want. I meant to tell you before. By the way, we just jumped right into the podcast, but be yourself. Whatever you want to say,
man. I'm like, crazy. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life.
Go ahead.
Real talk, man. Real talk. Because this is the thing. And that's the other thing we didn't go through in my background. My background's pretty extensive, but I have lending experience too. And I did that when the market crashed because I wanted to understand how to leverage money better. I learned about the amortization schedule. I learned about interest, APRs versus interest rate, right? All that stuff. Now, what people don't understand is a house today at $300,000, rates right now are 3.5. That same $300,000 house, when rates go up to 5%, and that house, even if that house went down to $250,000, it's the same price. You just missed out on 2-3 years of paying down equity. Do you get what I'm saying? Off putting yourself in a position of ownership, off the write-offs of interest, off of it's nuts. You get what I'm saying? Number one, it's nuts because on your primary residence, I could see maybe people holding off or whatever for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But if you do it right, especially on rental properties, you don't buy a rental property no more than 75%, max 80% of the after repair value. That's not just because of lending. That's your buffer. Right? If the market makes an adjustment. Now, 2008 happened because of an economical crash, right? Like straight whole economy crashing, right? That doesn't happen. The market adjusts itself every 15, 20 years. That's a 15 to 20% adjustment. It's not a crash. 2008 was like the Great Depression, like 50 years ago, however long ago, right? So that's not something that's going to happen because we learn from our mistakes. We don't write fake paper anymore. I explained to you at the beginning, I could buy 4 houses in one weekend with stating whatever income I wanted to state. That's just not the world we live in anymore. So when you buy a house at 80%, it's worth 100 and you bought it at 80,000. When the market adjusts 15%, guess who owes 80,000 and the house is worth 85? You. What's going to happen, which always happens and has to happen in order for our economic system to keep growing, it has to go back up, right? So that's why we have that buffer in there. We also are in a position, if we buy at 80, that very quickly we'll be able to pay equity into that property and pay it down, which means if something does happen, you probably owe 72 and it's worth 85. So it leaves you in a position of less vulnerability. I can refinance that house still. I can sell that house with enough equity in it still. If I had to restructure, most importantly, I can ride the down train out because my payments are super low, and now I could just, if I have to lower my rents, no matter what, up market or down market, there'll always be rentals. There's always going to be renters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the only thing you have to think of in that position is, am I in a position, which you should be, because you should be cash flowing at least $300 a month off your property. Can you lower it $100 to ride out this year until the market comes back? Right?
Mm.
You shouldn't be living off 100% of your equity, of your rental income anyway. Right? So when that does take a hit, I live off 35 to 40% of my rental income. The rest I put back into paying off the principal balances of properties on an aggressive rate called debt layering. You know what I'm saying? So
you said 30%?
35% max is what I live. That 35% continues to grow up every time I pay a property off and every time I buy another property. So if the market takes a slight little dip, which it will, right? Then I can lower my rents and increase the amount of money that I live off of and not even feel it and still have a dummy amount of cash flow.
How do you feel about people investing in single family homes and multifamily homes or multi-units, I should say?
Yeah.
It's I feel like
under 4 units you're saying, or commercial?
You can say 4, yeah, 4. Yeah.
So what you have to understand is everybody made millions in every single facet of real estate there is. That's why there's information about it. That's why it exists. So I'd say if that's your niche, then run with it, right? Go get you some. I'd just say make sure you get coin operated washer and dryers and get a little bit extra money, right? Put solar panels on the roof and try to increase the revenue, right? But
because you see a lot of people on social media talking about, oh, you need to go all in on multifamily units.
No, I'll deal with duplexes, but what you have to understand is, and you'll have these conversations with people that own a bunch of cheap stuff with high quote unquote cash flows, right? But what people don't factor in is there's a variable called time, and there's a variable called vacancy rate, there's a variable called turnover. If you got somebody renting a place for you for $550 a month, how stable do you think that person is? Just common sense.
Probably not very stable.
Well, you gotta paint that place again, you gotta find another tenant again, and you got the time that it's been empty again. And you have the calls, the time you have to put into it, all the possibilities of that. And if you're in cold climates where most of these duplexes and triplexes are, you got freezing the pipes. You got a lot of different variables. So while you looking like it makes $800 cash flow, the reality is you're making the same $300-400 cash flow I'm making on my single family. The difference between a single family is that, and this is a biased opinion, but I've had both. I started off with a bunch of multifamilies, 3 units, 4 units, 2 units, right? So I'll still do duplexes, but my preference is single family homes, because not only just the rental part of it, but I look at everything from all different angles, right? So if it comes time to sell it, I call it swimming in the big pool, right? Like if we're gonna go swimming and I'm looking for the majority of people, they're not gonna be in the jacuzzi, they're gonna be in the pool, right? So what's easier to sell, a duplex or a single family, right? How many more, where are the buyers at? Right. So if I have to exit quickly, I'm going to be able to exit out of that single family property quicker. When the market did collapse and crashed, what did they take care of first? The primaries, the single families. Then they started figuring out the modification platforms for investors, for multifamilies, for yada, yada. Right. So and there's multiple exit strategies. So there's not only for single families, there's not only just the sale, the refi, but there's also things like lease options, subject tos, land contracts. There's so many other buyers and so many other options with a single family property than multifamilies. Do I have multifamilies? Hell yeah. But where's my bread and butter? What do I focus on? Single families. Personally.
Got you.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people what an exit strategy is in real estate?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you buy a house, you should know what you're going to do with that property before you even signed on the dotted line to buy the house. The exit strategy is how you planned on monetizing that property, how you planned on making money. So if you bought this property and it's a flip, that's your exit strategy, is to buy it, fix it, and sell it. If your exit strategy is to buy, fix it, and rent it, then the refinance is your exit strategy out of that hard money loan or whatever it is. So your exit strategy is just your parachute, like how you gonna save yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like
just
how you get your money back or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, so you got your primary exit strategy, and then you have your, like you said, your just in case, your emergency parachute. And for me, the single family and the price points that I buy in, I have the flip as my primary. And then if worst case scenario, something happen, I can refinance it. That's my secondary exit strategy.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Makes sense. So I'm curious, man. I've been hearing a lot about Cleveland and Detroit, and you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people what's going on up there? And
man,
are people still investing in California? What's going on?
Yeah, most definitely, man. And I'm actually thinking about coming back to Cali just because I'm personally here. I miss.
Wait, so do you live in Cali?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live in Cali.
Are you saying invest back in Cali?
Invest. I did 20. Yeah, I did over 28 flips last year in Cali.
Okay.
Right. But what happened was, number one, was working with a lower amount of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, and I felt that going out of state, I can get more bang for my buck. I can do. I'm doing 4 properties. I'm closing this month with $60,000. You know what I'm saying?
You can't do that in Cali.
It's one property in San Bernardino, which is the hood. You know what I mean? For one property, $60,000. So,
damn,
that's
4 properties.
Yeah.
That's
so the thing is Cali. It's kind of like if the market slows down, you have one exit strategy, and that was to sell because it's not going to cash flow. A $350,000 property in San Bernardino is not going to cash flow. Period. Right. And there's only one exit strategy. You only have one chance to do this right, which I have a lot of experience, but if the market slows down, I don't want to get caught with a $350,000 bag, right? If the market slows down in Cleveland or Detroit or any of these other places, I can lease option it, I can rent it out, I can Airbnb it. Damn, it's endless. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other things I can do to save that deal, that investment. So, I don't want to get caught with the bag that high. B, you get more bang for your buck because what I show people is you actually can make money as a project manager in your flips. So if you got that $60K and you're doing one flip in Cali, you can make, $500 a week flipping that property for yourself, right? As a project manager. If you do 4 in Cleveland, now you're getting $2,000 a week for project management. And that's what you want to eat off of. And I'm giving y'all some super game right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
now I'm saying like some of this stuff you got to pay for.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Some of the stuff you got to stay for, but that's what you eat off of. You know what I mean? Like the money on the other side of the fence is what you roll over into the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. So definitely stay dialed in or hit me up on Instagram if y'all want to. I'm going to start giving out more, and then the YouTube channel too.
For sure.
I'm going to start giving out more and more game.
Yeah, for sure. So just real quick, are you good on time?
Yeah, we good.
For sure. Man, help me out. Like, I've been telling people that some of the best places to invest in is in the hood, in the places that look kind of run down, and people help me out. Like, why is it that the money is in the hood and the places that look run down? Because again, you go on your Instagram account, some of these places, most people be like, there's no way I'm investing in that. How can you fix that up? You over here smiling, you're like, this is where the money's at.
Yeah, it most definitely. And it's not necessarily the hood. It's the hood, but it's calculated hood, I guess is what you would say. And so it's really just the price point because
calculated hood. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because and there's some in both. I'm in both. I got some spots that are right near the hospital that the ARV. I'm buying a house right now, 120.
What's the ARV?
250.
What's the ARV?
Yeah, the after repair value.
Oh, got you.
So the after repair value on it will be 250, and I'm buying it for 120, and it needs about 40K. So it's about a $35,000-$40,000 profit deal, and that's in Cleveland. That's a nice area. That's a beautiful property, right? So there's those, but then there's the other ones that Redwood. You know what I mean? That one's buying it for 80. Needs like 30, and then I have one where I'm buying for 53, needs 30. You know what I mean? And that would be considered the hood, but it's all about the after repair value. Like, I don't give a damn where it's at. It don't really make sense. Like, I did my homework to make sure that the average sale in that area is less than 30 days. So why am I prejudiced of where those are at, right? Like, if the market is telling me we want this area, we're buying in this area, the comps are telling me that. You're telling me I'm looking at 6 properties here that all sold within 15 days of being listed. Why wouldn't I buy in that neighborhood? Why do I care if it's the hood or if it's the good part of town? You know what I mean?
Right, makes sense.
So your comps is what tells you where on your criteria sheet that what neighborhood you're actually buying in. Yeah. So hood or no hood, like days on market, that's true and factual.
Days on market, okay.
You know,
for sure. How familiar are you with opportunity zones? Because I went to just not to cut you off, I just recently went to the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, and they were talking about how Fontana, some parts of South Fontana it's going to be considered an opportunity zone.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it. I'm kind of familiar with it.
I think you should focus more on your niche than the opportunity zone, because let's say when we build your criteria out, we're going to look at how much value we can get out of that zip code, right? So if it's like Fontana, if we can only get 3 or 4 deals a month, like sent to us, not even that we won, you know what I mean? Like opportunities to put offers in on 3 a week in Fontana. I'm not going to wait all year to find a deal in this opportunity zone, because time is money. So if this $40K is sitting in my bank, it's not making me no money. So if another deal in South Fontana or West Fontana comes up and I can make 40 grand on it, I'm jumping on it. Sorry, Mr. Opportunity Zone, I'll come back to you when I win a bid over there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel with opportunity zones. I feel like you should make your own opportunity zone. Like if I bought a property for 100K and the after repair value on it is 250K, that's an opportunity zone. You know what I'm saying? Like if average day on market is 30 days, how is that not an opportunity zone? Because opportunity zones might be able to offer you incentives, but if I can make 50K on this deal right here, why do I care what zone it's in? You get what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So make your own opportunity zone is what I'm saying. Put the offers in and negotiate the deal to be favorable to the opportunity that you want.
How involved are you in the renovation process of some of these homes?
That's what I was saying about Cali. That's what I miss. That's why I want to come back to Cali, because I miss going into houses every day. My Instagram is dry to me. Like I'm like, man, I'm showing me on my horses and you know what I'm saying? Like my kids, like we out doing stuff. And I'm just like, man, if for anybody that was following me a year ago, I was in properties like 3, 4, 5 properties a day. Like just driving from property to property. We dealing with sprinkler systems on this one. We're putting a roof in on this one. We're putting a kitchen. And I like that. But now that I'm in these other states, it's like I got to fly over there.
Takes time.
I'm in it for 3, 4 days and I'm in and out. And it's cold as hell over there. So, but I love to be involved in my properties, man. Like I love to be in them. I love the demo process. I love every facet of it. You know what I'm saying? I love to be in them. But as far as what's my role in each one of my deals is just to oversee. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm overseeing that.
Has it been like that since the beginning?
No. Okay. Back in 06, like I used to swing a hammer, man. I used to be in there doing my own demo and I was just very lost. I would tear a house up with no clue on how to put it back together. Like no clue on how nobody's number to put it back together. And then I would be like so cheap that I would be like, hey, can you come put these cabinets in? Not like, hey, can you come do all this work? It's like, nah, I'm gonna paint and stucco, and then you just come in and put the cabinets in, and I'll have someone else come to fix these floors or something. Like I was so messed up with it. But what I learned from it now is like how to create a scope of work. So when you walk into a property, a scope of work for y'all that don't know what that is it's basically like, an example would be like, I first start off with demo, right? So I'll do a visual, a written, and a walkthrough with the contractor. And it's like demo carpet in living room, demo baseboards in living room, demo ceiling fan. And so it's demo list of ceiling fan, baseboards, carpet, that's living room. Cancel all cable and phone outlets, right? That's a list, a clear list of everything I want taken out of this property. And then you put it back together with a scope of work. So it's like a front entryway, 4x4 tiled area, 12x12 tiles, 1/4-inch spacing, gray tile, gray grout, right? Transition piece to laminate floor. That's a scope of work. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you give that to somebody and they can see detailed, we're putting in 12 36-inch doors. We're putting in 2,400 square feet of laminate flooring. We're putting in 1,500 linear square foot of baseboard and whatever trim, right? You got it all laid out to the color. Even on the back of my scope of works, I have pictures of the ceiling fans that they're going to put in, pictures of the exterior lights that I use, picture of the interior lights that I use, picture of the recessed lighting that I use. There's no question. So now it's just a matter of project managing, right? Which is like, okay, when it's time to lay the tile, I want you guys to hit me up. Let me run in there. Let me see what's up.
You pop up on them.
So now it's like, hey, I'm making sure we have hardy backer down. If it's a shower wall, I'm making sure we're using red sealer on the walls to make sure the water don't absorb. And I'm like, this is how I want my tile laid. I don't want no little skinny shiver piece at the top. We got 12 by 24 inch tiles. We measure it. All right, boom. Cut it in half. 6 inches on the bottom, 6 inches on the top. Run it all the way up to my mosaic strip. Give me a 6-inch mosaic strip from left to right. Making sure it's all the same thickness, 1/4 inch. No, you know what I mean? I want my edges. I want quarter round. You know what I'm saying? Or I want trim piece on my edges so it ain't grout to drywall. Right. That's what you're doing. And then once they know how you like it done, you shouldn't have to repeat yourself. You should have a contractor that's going to go in and they know how you want things.
I mean, you laid it all out for him. You know
If you lay it out like that, it's like, how did you mess this up? You know what I mean? Like it's hung up on the wall on a paper on a clipboard.
So who put you on game to real estate? Did you have a mentor? Do you have a mentor? Is everything like you just trial and error?
Yeah, sadly, man, it's I've always been the front runner for myself. I wish I could say different, but I've surrounded myself with a few people that have contributed some game to me. I'm a student first, every room that I go in, but having a designated mentor, having a designated person I could rely on for stable information, I can hit them up and they give me information. I've never had that. It's just always been books, and just get buying the property. The properties have been my students. So I mean my teachers. So that's what I tell people. They don't know how valuable your first 3 flips are. Like you'll never be broke another day of your life once you learn that. Because if you look at your first 3 flips like that education, like that college degree, right? Like you pay for your college degree. You don't get paid for college, right? So if you came up with $30K and you jump in on your first deal, you and 2-3 other guys, y'all go into it. The question every day is, what did we learn, and how can we make that better? How can we put a system in place? The scope of work is the system in place. The checklist on the end of the property. That's when you let a contractor get his last check, and you walk through and you turn the showers on, and the water flooded because all the crap went down the drain. So I go into all my properties. I turn all the water on and let it run while I go check all of the outlets. And I turn all the electrical lights on, everything that can run, and then I run the garbage disposal, and I run the dishwasher. Because now you can see if there's just going to be a surge, if there's going to be something that, boom, I make the GFIs pop, right? Because once you stroke that last check, they gone. Yeah. You ain't coming back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when you go through your first 3 flips, the question is, how do we make this better and how do we learn from it? What systems can we put in place?
Got you.
After you flip your first 3 deals, you're vetted with every lender. Every lender will give you money because you have that experience on paper. So the money is not a problem anymore. And you have the education you need to run and do volume, crank it up. Wow. It's there now. It's more important than the money.
Absolutely.
If I can tell anybody that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like it's more important than the money. Those first 3 flips is everything. Every lender will knock their door down to give you money if you have 2 or 3 flips under an LLC completed. You go from 20% down to 10% down, sometimes 5% down, right? Which means your money goes further. You get from a 14% interest rate to a 9% interest rate. You go from 4 points having to pay for that loan to 1.75. Maybe 2 points for having to pay for that loan. Everything comes by way of that experience and that flip. It's more important than the money.
Got you. So yeah, we can kind of start wrapping it up. But I had posted on Instagram, asked any questions that you guys have real estate related. So a couple of these are from Instagram. Let me see what we got. Do you need a real estate license to become a real estate investor?
Okay. So a real estate license to be a real estate investor? No.
Gotcha.
Not at all. Because the reason why that is just because the real estate license is actually going to give you a leg up, right? So it's kind of like if you had a big truck with a dumpster your demo cost should be cheaper, right? Because now you can haul your own crap out. You can go pay two guys off Craigslist to haul all your stuff out. You ain't paying $1,500, $2,000 for it. So that's what the real estate license is to you. So the real estate license just allows you to put the property on the market and sell it without having that, with having that smaller commission, that, you know, because you're not going to take commission off your own deal.
Right.
Or maybe you do, but at least it goes in your pocket. And then even putting offers on the MLS and then having the MLS access to look up the values of properties.
Got you.
I don't recommend wasting time to go get your license. Somebody on your squad should have their license though. So if you're married, maybe you have your wife do that on the side while you're out looking for properties, doing the active work of investing in real estate, right? So, and a lot of people say it doesn't coincide, but there's this whole legal thing of like, when you're not licensed, you can come in guns blazing with a homeowner, right? And you can say whatever you want to say. There's no legal ramifications of me buying a house from you and telling you whatever hell I want to tell you to buy your house. But if I'm holding a license, I'm now governed and I'm not regulated. So yes, you can disclose. I'm an agent, by the way, just so you know. But that don't mean that they still can't come back and you got regulatory agencies on you now. But if your wife, your cousin, your brother, your business partner, someone has their license, I think that's a good plus to the team.
Got you.
Yeah.
Someone asked, how can I start investing with $1,000?
Damn.
Whoa. Okay, with that being said, what would you recommend them do? What would they do with that $1,000?
Oh, I got it.
Would you say educate themselves?
Nope. With that $1,000, you should go and build your credit.
Okay.
Yeah. Build your credit. Education's going to come. If you're hungry enough, you can go sit your ass in Barnes & Nobles for free every day and get the education.
Facts.
Right? Do they not have chairs in Barnes & Nobles? And they got a coffee maker. You know what I'm saying? Snacks in the whole nine.
Yeah.
So you can go up in there and get your education. Education's going to come. And you'll come up with the money month by month. You'll start driving for Uber, Lyft, whatever. You come up with the money to education. But whatever startup money you have, if you're working with less than $3,000, you need to be going to get a secured credit card with Bank of America, with another company, so you can build your credit up. You get a 680 FICO score, it's a wrap, because you can go borrow money now. If it's good enough for your savings account, it should be good enough for your credit. There's no way you can sit there and tell me you busted your ass for however long it took you to get this $20,000 and you about to invest this $20,000, but you won't use your credit. That's crazy to me. So it makes more sense to take your smaller amounts of money and build your credit up. Pay a credit repair to delete whatever you need to get deleted off your credit, get rid of inquiries, and start getting yourself secure credit cards if you have to start at that level. Get your grandmother, your mother, whoever it is, to add you to their credit cards so that way you can be an authorized user as long as they have low balances on a high yield card. So if it's a $5,000 balance availability and they only owe $1,000, cool. Let them add you to their card, which is what your parents should be doing anyway. It's how we're supposed to start our youth off.
Right.
So let them know you don't even need a card. You just want to get added to their account. Build your credit up to the 680, and you'll realize very quickly that you can get access to capital. Use that money to invest.
Got you. So the next question is, do you recommend, we only got a couple more questions, by the way. Do you recommend renting your first home and buying a second, or vice versa?
I recommend get rid of your debt, right? First things first. Get rid of all debt that's not needed. If your dog is not contributing to the household, you know what I mean? Like, that's how grimy it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dogs produce, I got Frenchies. They produce $20,000 a year, each of them, period, to stay at my crib, right? That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything's got to contribute at the crib. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just the code that I live by. But get rid of all the unnecessary expenses, right? Reset your bank account. You'll be surprised if you call your bank and say, hey, my card got lost. They'll reset it. You'll realize how much automatic stuff you had being taken out of your account. That's nuts. Pandora, all this crazy stuff. Get rid of your expenses like that, right? Now, the goal is to, when it's time to buy your first property, the goal is what's going to help you eliminate the expenses. Do I buy a duplex and rent out the other side, or Airbnb the other side? So now I'm mortgage free. Your two biggest expenses are your car and your house. If you Airbnb your other side, or if you have a house, and sometimes you can scale up. If you buy a big ass house and chop it up and make a little side unit,
go live in there.
and either live in that side. They have what's called here in Cali, they have accessory dwelling units where you can actually convert legally permitted your garage into a living space now and get that. So now if you bought this house, this piece of junk house, you can do, there's a lot of loan products out there like the 203K loan or something like that. FHA has a product that will let you buy the house and actually will put some money aside to fix it up. So if you buy a house like that, use that loan to put a little money aside, fix up the garage. If you don't have kids and stuff like that, live in the garage. If you do, live in the main house and rent out the garage. The goal is to get rid of that expense as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? That's what I recommend from the start. Just while you're building your knowledge and your education to try to get more money, get rid of your expenses. Financial freedom is not this millionaire thing. Financial freedom is your bills are paid every month, period. Everything above that is your financial freedom. After your electric bill, after your food, after your house, after your car, after everything, you're financially free. So if your mortgage is paid by the Airbnb, if all your other stuff is paid, right, then you can move closer to building wealth. Because to be honest, the biggest failure that people have in real estate is the pressure of having to pay bills, right? So they make bad decisions. Because I got a house right now that's almost 30 days over rehab schedule. But anyone else would be like, yo, like, let's get that thing listed. You only get one chance to list it. You know what I mean? You list it and you put it on the market wrong, and now you're sitting on the market for 6 months. And all that stuff comes by pressure of money that you have to pay. So get rid of your expenses. And the very first purchase I would buy for somebody, if they have the ability of using a personal loan, is I would buy a house or buy something that would eliminate my expenses, help me eliminate the majority of my expenses.
Got you. Let me see. One more question. Let's see what we got. I think the last question was how to invest in real estate without using your own money. You went over that.
We covered that. Yeah, the credit card, right? We went over the credit card. We went over the hard money loans.
Yep.
And if you want more info, definitely DM me. I do offer a 20-30 minute consultation, free consultation.
Cool.
So I'll chop it up with people that just kind of want to get their direction right, or they may be investing. So definitely hit the IG Lewis_helps, hit that up and get that consultation.
Cool. So one last thing I have all my guests do before they leave is just give one last piece of advice for the audience. I know you gave a ton of game,
man,
but just like one small little nugget, whether it's real estate related or whatever it may be. By the way, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Most definitely.
This is one of the most informative ones that we made to this date.
Thank you.
But if you got one last piece of advice, and we can wrap it up.
Man, if you don't have a higher power, if you don't have a God in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what keeps this motor running for me. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I always give my start, my finish, everything I get at to God. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
Very much a believer in trying to, point people in the right direction, and most definitely that's what I would lead with for sure. For
sure. You want to leave your social media where they can contact you, whatever?
Yeah, like I said, I do the consultations, man. Tap in with me on the IG. It's Lewis_helps. I got the Lewis helps on YouTube, and forgive me, I'm running a business and trying to put the content out. So
it's difficult.
We working at it, man. Just bear with me and don't hesitate to tap in. A lot of people they don't utilize that. And I do respond on the IG.
Yeah, he responded to me.
Right? I respond on the IG, and people just don't know. So the free consultations are there. Just stay consistent with whatever you're doing. And that's where we're at right now. LewisHelps.com is getting dialed in right now. But look out, because we're going to have some crazy dumb education coming that's going to be fun. I think I'll go ahead and put it out there, man. The next one's going to be, I'm going to do one in Cali. The next one, that's the big training event, is going to be in the Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
Mansion. Ooh. On the water, boats.
Do we have a date for the Cali one?
The Cali one's coming up at the end of March.
Got you.
So the one in Cali is going to be one that we'll go into some properties. We'll get hands-on training into some properties, some more of that. Yeah, most definitely. Some of that hands-on. So that's coming. And then after that, we're going to definitely jump into the DR, man. And it's going to be a boot camp. We're going to be on the phone. We're going to be in properties. We're going to be building out your plan, building out your criteria. It's gonna be nuts, and it's gonna be fun. Then I'm gonna let y'all just have the mansion for the last 2-3 days.
Wow.
Ball out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm going to leave everything in the description below. I'm going to link everything. And on that note, it's your boy Chris, and I'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir.